All right, we have another game for you today, and man, what is this a game? I'm super excited to cast this, and Benji is just like, meh. And the reason he goes meh is because he already knows what time it is. It is quadruple Sicilian time. Now, before we get into the strategy, we did try and do something a little bit funny. We tried to go, oh, we all picked random, ha ha ha, it didn't work out, blah, 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 blah. But this was our third attempt. We failed miserably 2 times, and I'll talk a little bit about why we failed a little bit later on. So we didn't really have the energy to do the whole, oh, we picked random, so I just go, and then Benji goes, oh, is this the new meta? Is this is this the new meta after the update? Yeah, this is the new meta. And then A12C5 goes, I meant to pick Magyars. A little shout out to T90 for the Legend of the Liar. We like to have a lot of fun. A12C5, Loam, Pedro. This was a community game. If you want to join the community, there will be a link in the description for the toilet bowl. Yeah, that's right. The toilet bowl is our Discord. I felt like that was a very, very appropriate name, being the Poop Lord. And, oh. Alright, let's talk about the strategy. Psych. I want to talk about the players a little bit. Low Amp is one of the funnest people to play with, in my opinion. I've had a lot of great games with Low Amp, and he never plays, I shouldn't say never, he almost never plays a standard game. The closest that I've seen him play a standard game is when we were doing the Nomad strategy, where I picked Vietnamese so that we could see our opponent's TCs. He then picked Mayans, and we both decided that the opponent, who was Goths, would be a good target as he was very, very far away from his Persian teammate. So we double teamed the Goth quickly, ending him in basically feudal age and thus winning the game. And he played that pretty standard. He went for archers with Mayans, which I think is relatively meta. But that being said, Low Amp is not meta. He actually, with a bunch of the other guys from my community, has their own series called Meme Squad or Meme Crew. If you want to check that out, feel free to give this guy and the other memers some love. They do some really, really crazy strategies, and I really enjoy that. Talking about crazy strategies, A12C5. I played a great game with him recently called the Khmer Relic Heist, a great strategy for 2v2 arena in which you as the Khmer player go up really, really, really quick to then get all of the relics for your Lithuanian teammates so that they get super duper strong knights. It was a lot of fun to play that one, and if you have a kind of a differential between your elos, I think that's a great strat to try out. But what I remember most about A12C5 is his love for chunky boys. I'm talking about battle elephants, of course. My only regret from A12C5 or playing with A12C5 is I feel like I'm always letting him down. Like whenever we play, he makes all of these suggestions. You should be doing that. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. And I'm like, yeah, I should be. But my low APM doesn't allow for that. Little reference to APM, little shout out there. But he makes some really good points on how we should win the game already. Oh, what's going on over here? Now the cool thing is we're all talking on Discord while this is going on. So I can signal and tell them, hey, there's a scout over here. Let's get those scouts. And sure enough, my crew shows up, which is wonderful, even though that scout totally got away. And I do a little ploppy reference here. Come out and fight me! You stole my boar! I hope Vino watches this. Wololo! Little war cry there as well. Come and fight me. Now, in the pink, my favorite color over here, or purple, or whatever you want to call it, is Pedro. Cheeseburgers actually got swapped out for Pedro in this one. Cheeseburgers was going to take a little break, and he came back afterwards. Cheeseburgers was having a hard time with this strategy, so he played into 2 failed attempts. In one, he got tower rushed really, really heavily, and the other one, it just didn't really work out. And the reason those games didn't work out, I told you I was going to tell you about this, is that one of our opponents got a free boom and kind of just wrecked us in Imperial Age. It totally wasn't because I dropped a castle on production buildings rather than on our opponent's eco. Just forget about that part. What I do love, as my dog does some barking, I'm adding sound effects to my YouTube videos. I don't know if you guys have noticed. That's not actually a dog that I am recording over here. That's a fake dog. Porky, come here, man. You want a little love? My dog is called Porky. Anyway, Pedro is a very interesting fellow because Pedro always wants to get the W. He's a salty, salty boy. So I like to mess around with Pedro a lot. Whenever I play with Pedro, I go for the absolute stupidest strategy that I can possibly think of. I had a game recently with Pedro where it was a 4v4 arena, and I decided, you know what? I'm gonna go for a feudal Persian, a feudal Persian TC drop. Why not? Because either way, it absolutely ruins Pedro's experience. If I throw the game by doing this, awesome. If I pull it off and win the game by doing this, I hope our opponents resign immediately and Pedro doesn't get to play. And sure enough, the second thing happened and Pedro was like, we won the game, but I didn't get to play. Oh, that was really lame. He was just salty about it, but it's all in good fun. We like having some fun with the memers from the Discord. And once again, you're invited too. And talking about noobs, here's the biggest noob of them all, Poop Lord. Now, I didn't talk about any of the civs that these players are playing because we're all playing Sicilians. As my market and blacksmith are going up, let's talk a little bit about our opponent. SARS, playing as the Mongols in the gray. Teal is Benji, playing as the Persians. Green is Leporin, playing as the Franks. And blue is called Wa, playing as the Bulgarians. Alright, let's talk about the strat real quick as we are already starting to approach Castle Age. My goodness, so many things to talk about. The idea here is that we all go 26 pop or so up to feudal, then 27, 28 pop up to castle, have enough resources to drop a siege workshop, then construct a siege tower, hop 10 villagers into that siege tower, and then cruise over to our prospective enemies and drop a castle inside of their base. The reason that we picked Sicilians is for the following reasons. First of all, castles and town centers build 100% faster. In this game, this is going to be bailing us out significantly. Trust me. Another reason that I think Sicilians are really cool, because when poop eventually does hit the fan, which of course it will because it's a poop lord strategy, this strategy right here, or this element, really helps. First Crusade allows you to get 7 sergeants from each of your TCs to a total of 5 TCs. So that's a total of 35 military units that you get as soon as that technology is completed, given that you have at least 5 town centers. Oh man, this was a super long introduction, and the worst part is, I've messed this cast up several times. The last part of this strategy is that everybody has to drop their opponent. So, low amp over here is going to be dropping blue. Yellow is going to be dropping green. Pink, teal, orange, gray. So Poop Lord is going to be dropping stars. Pedro is going to be dropping Benji. Then A12C5 is going to be dropping Lupurin. And Loamp is going to be dropping Wah. But this is a total of 2k team game elo or around that. So you have to adapt. You can't just have a blueprint and just go with it. You have to sometimes adapt. And talking about adapting, we are going to have to adapt right now as Green is constructing a stable. Now, once low APM realizes this, he's going to have to adapt to this, because this means that Wah and Lupurin are probably going to double team him. So once he does scout this with his scout, we discuss and talk about how it might be better for low APM to drop it at home, the castle that is. Also, Pedro ran into some problems over here where he scouted out that there were already preemptive walls. It's almost like if you have 4 Sicilians, you know what your opponent is going to be doing. So he decided that he wanted to place his castle a little bit in front of the walls, not having to invest into that siege tower, and then pressure Teal like that. Oh, and with that being said, we can now finally focus on all the craziness that is about to occur. Let me just have a sip of Coke because stuff's gonna get real wild real fast. Delete going to build a Krepos over here. Meanwhile, Siege Tower is going to be trying to hop over this wall, and they hop over. They're invisible. Why are they invisible? Just DE things, I suppose. We drop the rest of them over as well. Meanwhile, Krepos is being constructed over here, which means that low APM has to react. A12C5 does signal where that Krepos is being dropped, pulls all the boys, all the girls, starts constructing that. Meanwhile, there's a defensive watchtower being placed on my castle, but I didn't even notice that that watchtower was there because this castle is going up so quickly. Talking about castles going up so quickly, is low APM going to be able to outspeed this Krepos? And the answer is yes. But can he stop these villagers from completing this Krepos? Also yes. So that was a very, very good win for us over there. Meanwhile, over here, I'm putting a whole bunch of pressure. He invested into this tower, which is basically useless at this point. And my goodness, is there a lot of stuff happening all at once. Pedro built that castle, like I said, a little bit in front. And, oh, that's a lot of knights going to snipe down his villagers. Meanwhile, oh, man, he hopped over the wall. A12C5 did, and he is going to be trying to construct a castle on blue. Blue's not even aware of this. He has no idea what is going on at this time. That woman is just like taking her time to construct those little palisades. Sure, do your thing. I don't think Blue knows. I don't think he knows at all. Shh, we hunting rabbits here. Be very, very quiet. 1, 2. Oh man, there's so much, and he hasn't even, okay, now he realizes. 4 before the bell is even rung. Meanwhile, low NPM is trying to clear up these buildings, engaging against knights when he can, at least damaging to pretty good percentage if you're asking me. Pedro, he is doing something interesting as well. I don't know what Pedro was doing, but he was constructing petards to break in. But Blue is having none of it. He is constructing a little base to defend because he knows that the pressure is going to be coming in. Oh, even sniping a relic away from Pedro. Pedro was going for those relics. Oh man, this is hilarious. I can't miss this. Why is this villager out here, first of all? And then, second of all, that monk is just following this villager. Here's the best part. Heal myself. Fight the evil lizard. I'm happy I didn't miss it this time. Meanwhile, we are trying to put some pressure. We did construct a siege workshop to try and exert some pressure. Sergeants are trying to get through this house wall that Gray has created. This TC is eventually going to go down, and we probably should have just like, I think we could have maybe walked through over here with those sergeants, but decided to just keep smacking this house. Why not? Meanwhile, stuff is getting really, really messy in the base of blue. Defensive Krepos having to go up. Shots being fired all over the place by this castle, trying to get this barracks up, but that barracks is not going to go up at this time. And that's because low APM, he can't bring his spearmen into blue's base. So this just makes it really, really awkward. Did re-wall this tiny little section just a little bit. So now A12C5 has to make his own. Meanwhile, let's go back to Pedro. Pedro's just chilling, man. He's getting the relics. He's having a great time. And we need to keep track of something else over here. We're just going to select this siege tower for no particular reason. Don't worry about it. It's fine. But we are starting to have a problem. It may seem like everything is going well. We're taking down buildings. We're causing chaos. Oh, the quick walls. The quick walls from Gray. I didn't get in again on his eco, but I was doing some damage, so I felt okay about the damage that I was doing. Pedro isn't really doing a whole bunch of damage to Teal, but at least he's putting pressure on him, forcing him to make military. But our big problem is Green. Green has not received any pressure whatsoever. He is free TC booming freely. Free TC booming freely. Free. So that's not good for us at all. Meanwhile, there's still a whole bunch of chaos in Blue's base. Look at the amount of Krepos he's had to build. That's 700 stone in Krepos. That's so worth it. Oh, wait a second. A12C5. You told me, oh, don't build a siege workshop in your opponent's base. It's kind of like a waste of wood. Well, what's that? That is an offensive siege workshop if I have ever seen one in my life. Those rams are going to go forward, and they are going to try and take out that Krepos. I agree with the forward siege workshop. I think it's totally fine. Did he actually manage to clean up this? Oh, look at this army. Quite a bit of army. Even rams to take down these buildings over here. And now, low APM is going to be dropping a... I can't even talk anymore. I think he's going to be dropping the vills left and right. No, because he has all of the pikemen over here. Oh, I guess he did drop one. But now he is constructing a offensive castle to try and pressure Green to some extent. But it's on the outside of the wall. It's not in there yet. And we need to start doing some damage to Green desperately. On the plus side, we are able to take down a lot of these stables. And Pedro, he has actually made it to Imp because he didn't really go for an aggressive attack. Pedro. Meanwhile, what are these petards going to do? What? That was the funniest use of petards ever. Talking about funniest use of petards, we actually did not pick these villagers up from here. We went back to our base to pick up additional villagers because we were fighting Mangadai over here, nor did we want to show our hand too quickly. So we are just strolling by, just passing. Hey Pedro, how is your attack going? Oh, you're getting absolutely wrecked by scorpions? That's cool. We're not going to help you out. We are here to slow down Green some more. If we can manage to slow down Green, because Green at this point is also Imperial Age. Man, the pathing on this thing, come on. Come on, Siege Tower. Let's go. Choo choo. But Green has all of these houses. There's no way I can possibly drop these villagers in. I think Green and Teal kind of knew what was happening. So we just couldn't make this work. I was like, oh, I can't. Oh, okay. Psych! He forgot this tiny corner over here. And we didn't really get all of our guys through even. But, you know, that's perfect. I'll take that. And that's perfectly on his eco as well. That was a very, very... I mean, he is Imp. So he's probably going to be producing... Yeah, he's already producing... Wait. Sorry. He's already producing Trebs. But who cares, man? We're here not for the long haul. We're here to do some damage right now, and we're all oh, this was such good teamwork. So I'm distracting him over here. Meanwhile, low APM is distracting him on this side, and we are just having a blast at this point, win or lose. This is so fun. And we decide to construct another castle. Now, A12C5 gave me a lot of BS for this. He was like, well, you know, if you can take down this castle, you can take down this castle, you really should spread them out like significantly further and blah, 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 blah. And I agree, but we were not in it for the long haul. We were in it to do as much damage as quickly as possible, and I think this castle is going to achieve that. We can see villagers and knights starting to drop left and right. TCs are going to be targeted down as well. And this is going to be able to be ranged by this castle and this castle by this castle. Meanwhile, another castle being constructed by green, and this is definitely slowing him down a whole bunch. Green doesn't even know where to look at this point. Green's like, so many castles. How's Pedro's push going over here? Oh, it's a slow and steady push. My goodness, man. Pedro, you can raid Gray over here. What's going on? Meanwhile, I am eventually going to be pushed off of this particular area once Gray does reach Imperial Age. But we're not too concerned about it. We're just concerned about slowing down for our team. And I'm telling them, I'm getting trapped over here, trying to make this happen to the best of our ability. But I'm just trying to buy time. I'm trying to buy time for APM to get trebs of his own and potentially treb down our opponent, and he is starting to get trebs out himself. Knights are getting taken down by that, so we are getting a lot of value out of this castle. It's buying us a lot of time. Oh, the petard! I didn't. Oh my god! Oh my god! What? I didn't know that happened. What? That was a lot of petards. Holy. It almost went down just by the petards on that. That's crazy. Oh, that's great. And now one more shot from the trip just to finish it off. Meanwhile, Rams over here. We decided to build a TC because why not? We don't have a stone for a castle, but we do have a stone for a TC. And guess what's coming in? Guess what's coming in? First Crusade's coming in, so instantaneously there's going to be 7 sergeants right here on your face. Oh, by the way, have fun fun dealing with all of these arrows. And that castle did go down brilliantly. Some nice quick walls behind, but this is going to be open in this spot as well. Everybody has made it to Imperial except for Wa. Wow. Wa has been significantly slowed down by A12C5. He did a lot of work on Wa and managed to get to Imperial before Wa did. Even trying to repair this, I mean, we know this is going to go down eventually, but these sergeants, man, they just came out, and I have a whole bunch of sergeants, and now we're going to use these sergeants over here to make my gold less efficient, I suppose. Also, oh, look at this terrible house, man. Oh, that's a horrible housing right there. This does go down, so that is kind of unfortunate. But those trebs are completely exposed. There is no military here. So, yeah, he's just going to take these trebs down. Oh, no, 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 no. Low APM, don't throw those. Don't throw those rams. Yeah, that wasn't the best use of those sergeants. I'm not too proud of that. But we were trying to stabilize over here. That's not going to happen. We do have a whole bunch of sergeants, and we realize that we have to have something for Mangadai as well, because once we crash into these Mangadai, once I realize how many Mangadai I have, I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. Mangadai are going to be a huge problem, so I think I start producing skirms somewhere around this point. Low NPM still hasn't managed to get quite through, but this castle is going to go down, and green has become irrelevant. He can't produce enough cavalier or knights or whatever it is to really be a huge threat, especially with so many pikemen and sergeants closing in on his base. And I still have a TC here, and I was just like, okay, just put him in, add arrow fire, I suppose, just be as annoying as possible. even constructing some additional villagers. How's the push going, Pedro? Oh, you still pushing? You still push? Pedro's like, I'm not making any progress. Not working, guys. I have like manga dye on my face. Bah, 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 bah. I'm getting 2v1'd over here. You were like, yeah, Pedro, whatever, man. I'm losing my relics, man. So we do start constructing those ranges, and we start getting some upgrades. We need to make way more ranges. We need to get as many ranges out as we possibly can. Get elite skirm, start getting some trebuchets out as well. That way we can start pressuring some of these production buildings from Gray to hopefully take them down. And I felt confident just kind of like handing this off to low APM and allowing him to destroy the rest of Green, because Green is not having a good time. Let's see, 42 pop. Yeah, he's the lowest pop at this time. And Wah is the second lowest, and he's getting tripped down now by A12C5. So A12C5 is going to eventually wipe out Blue if Blue doesn't get any support. What a crazy game so far. And now we're going mass skirms. Absolute mass skirms, because the biggest problem now is that Pedro is actually losing ground to both teal and gray. Gray did not get hit too hard. I mean, I did have that castle and I did slow him down somewhat, but I felt the need to go for green so that the Frankish player didn't get to full paladins. But now we have another problem. 20 free Mangadai, and all of those relics that Pedro collected, all of them wasted. Dust in the wind. And we're finally going to start pushing over here. And this is going to hopefully eventually have to bring back these Mangadai. So I am saying, Pedro, don't worry. I'm going to try and bring him home by attacking his main base. Because once his main base is attacked, oftentimes players will actually retreat their home army. As I say that, Pedro's helps are absolutely getting shredded. Anyway, it's such a fun game, to be honest with you. Kimono dragons, man. There was still one kimono dragon. I don't know why I got this woman in there. I guess it was just a misclick. And trebbing down the rest of green. Green is absolutely roasty toasty. 22 pop. Yes, get a kill. Got him. Should have probably garrisoned these two dudes, but whatever. I was more focused over here. And yes, the Mangadai did end up coming back. And I kind of realized that this is going to be really awkward to engage in. So that woman that was here, one woman constructing a castle, and it's already 40% constructed. I mean, that's wild, man. That is super wild. And we're just trying to get as many Mangadai as we possibly can. And now Pedro can kind of 1v1 teal, which he's very comfortable with again. Especially since he has helps and the opponent has just Cavalier. That's a pretty good matchup for him. Although that being said, when those Mangadai come back, those helps get absolutely cleared up. So that's why we're trying to put some additional pressure on. And blue is running. Blue is done. He's just like, no, we're out. This one scout is doing so much work over here. Yeah, I forgot that blue actually ran away. And low APM as well as A12C5 were just chasing him down to the best of their ability. Even having additional siege over here. And I think actually, is green completely dead? No, green has 5 villagers or 5 units remaining. Where are his... Okay, so there's a light cav over here. That's interesting. Now we finally hit pop cap. And we're going to just push into Gray's base slowly and methodically with tons and tons of skirms as we throw sergeants, which by the way are elite sergeants. I did get the elite upgrade in this particular one, and take that down. Very nice. And that's a whole bunch of skirms, so have fun with your... You have onagers too? Oh, just mangonels. Okay, it's fine. Go sergeants, go. We were actually sprinkling in some sergeants, but we are terribly pop capped. We got a lot of trebuchets. Nothing terrible would ever happen to these trebs, especially with this many skirms. How could anything bad happen to them, right? I mean, that's what you gotta be thinking to yourself. Meanwhile, Pedro is still not really pushed in to Teal's base. Going for Camel now. That's an interesting choice. I don't think Camel really counters any of our units. I don't think any of us went Cav. And this is just getting absolutely decimated. Blue has dropped down to 26 pop. Green is at 4 pop. Oh! You look away for 1 second. I said nothing bad was gonna happen. I just lost like 7 trebs. The gold in that is ridiculous. This is exactly what happened to me in this game. Nerf Mangudai. Mangudai are ridiculous in my opinion. They are so good. With that bonus against Siege, they snipe these things like they're cheesecakes, man. Like it's nothing. Absolutely decimate. I'm just so upset at this point. So we just build additional ones. We actually had really good resources. We didn't trade or anything, but we had some, yeah, we might as well. I mean, green's not going to need it. Meanwhile, blue's base is absolutely decimated over here, and blue is dead. Teal resigns at this point. I don't blame him. Pedro actually got in with his helps. Sar resigns really quickly after that. I don't think I even got those trebuchets out to the correct spot. And of course, I just like, okay, well, whatever. At this point, GG is called by everybody. The only person who does not call GG is the person who has 5 pop remain. Oh, 5 pop remaining, and that is green. Lepurin! Where is he even? He's not even in his base. He doesn't have any villagers. He's been in the bathroom for like the last like 10 minutes, I'm sure. But eventually he realizes that it is done. I think he didn't want to discourage his teammates by resigning, which I really do respect. But I don't think he actually had any... Oh! Okay, never mind. He did have in the back of Teal's base a miniature secret hideout. I didn't recognize that because of the green on green. Whew. I can't believe I actually managed to get through this game. Let's quickly go to the statistics. Starting with military. Who had the best KD? TC5, that's a pretty solid KD. Wow. Ooh, that's pretty rough. Low APM. Didn't kill a whole lot, but he did take down a whole bunch of buildings. 33 buildings raised. Also, that KD is pretty impressive. That's almost like 5 to 1. A little bit less than that, but still. Dang. Sar, 213 kills. Mangudai, man. Mangudai, they're so good. They kill so much stuff. Pedro, a little bit negative over there. He got MVP? Really? You got MVP? I'm salty. I'm salty Pedro on this one. How did he get MVP? He didn't even do the castle drop in their base. Blah 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 blah. He could have easily gotten through. Nah, I'm just messing. Pedro, well played. Well played indeed. Gonna have to check out his eco for sure. Meanwhile, I have a negative KD. But I felt like I did what I needed to do, especially with those Mangudai. And I went for a silly drop on green. But I think that paid off because if green would have just been able to focus on low APM, if you go back to that map, if green would have just been able to focus, I felt that was such a cool tag team. If he would have been able to just focus on low APM, I think this castle goes down. Those petards don't quite take out that castle. And then the Treb is not there because the castle is down. But by having these two castles get targeted, it allowed low APM to get in here and to absolutely steamroll green. And we talked about this afterwards, how we kind of liked how we did some tag team action on poor Lepurin in the green as Franks over here. Alright, eco. Is this why... Also doesn't have the highest eco numbers. Interesting. Low APM actually has the most wood and the most gold collected. Who got slung? Okay, so it looks like... Oh, okay, that's why Teal was holding on so well against Pedro is because he got slung a whole bunch of resources from Wa, and probably also killed Wa, or maybe made it more difficult for Wa to do anything against A12C5. The timeline, oh, it's wild. Wa didn't even make it to Imperial. I guess he just kind of started slaying. He did slaying like 5,000 resources to his teammates, so that's not bad. Is this why you got MVP? Because you are a holy individual? A holy man? 5 castles constructed. Yay! I think we did the strategy well. I really enjoyed this game a lot. I really did. And you can see each single one of those castles that are dropped, that are popping down our opponents step by step by step. Green definitely got a number done on him. Blue definitely got a number done on him as well. And eventually when Pedro broke through, that was it. That was GG right there. What a wild game. Also, I love that unique tech, man. I will say, that's so cool. You can actually see the spike in the timeline. That's how much of an effect it does have. Really cool, unique technology. I just want to say, guys, thanks for walking. What a game. What a game.